What's up, everyone? You know that song that's stuck in your head from TikTok or the soundtrack to that game you can't stop playing? Chances are it's electronic music. But have you ever stopped and wondered, how is that stuff actually made? Well, today we're going to look under the hood and figure it out. Let's dive in. Yeah, seriously. Just think about it for a second. You hear these crazy futuristic sounds all over the place, but it's not like there's a band with a drummer and a guitarist making them. So where do they even come from? What's the secret sauce? Well, here's the best way to wrap your head around it. It's kind of like building something with Legos, except instead of plastic blocks, your building materials are sounds, little clips of audio. And just like any big project, you need a blueprint. So let's break down that blueprint together. Okay, so first things first. Every awesome electronic track has to start somewhere, right? And that starting point, the absolute foundation, is the beat. It's the heartbeat of the song. It's what makes you want to nod your head or just get up and move. So even before a producer makes a single sound, they have to ask one massive question: how fast is this thing going to be? And that speed is measured in something called BPM, which stands for beats per minute. Just that one number, it sets the entire vibe. Is this going to be a chill track you study to? Or is it going to be a banger for the dance floor? It all comes down to the BPM. And it's actually super simple to understand. A slow BPM, well, that's like taking a nice, relaxed walk. Super chill. But a fast BPM, whoa, that's like an all-out sprint. One's for kicking back, the other is for pure, high-energy hype. So just how fast are we talking here? Well, most of the electronic dance music you hear, the stuff that really gets you going, sits in this sweet spot, right between 110 and 180 beats per minute. That's kind of the magic range for creating that energy that just grabs you. So how do they get those beats to be so perfect, so robotic and tight? They use this thing called a drum machine. Honestly, just think of it as a robot drummer. It never gets tired, it never messes up, and it can play these incredibly complicated patterns without breaking a sweat. And that perfect timing, that's what gives electronic music that powerful driving pulse. All right, so you've laid down your foundation, that solid beat. But a beat alone is just a rhythm, right? Now you have to give the track some personality, some identity. This is where we get into all the cool, weird, and futuristic sounds that make a song actually sound like that song. And for that, you have to meet the star of the show, the synthesizer, or synth for short. This thing is an absolute shapeshifter. It literally takes electricity and sculpts it into sound. I mean, it can create pretty much anything you can imagine. You know that deep, wobbly bass that you feel more than you hear? That's a synth. That high-pitched, screaming lead melody that sounds like a spaceship? Yep, also a synth. And what's really wild is how this technology has evolved. I mean, back in the 1970s, synths were these giant, room-sized monsters. Seriously, they looked like something out of a sci-fi movie. Then, in the 90s, they got small enough to fit on your desk. But now, right now, you can get software on your laptop that is ridiculously more powerful than all of those old machines put together. It's insane. But okay, what if you don't want to create a sound from scratch? What if you want to use a sound that already exists in the world? Well, that's where this other super cool technique called sampling comes in. It's all about grabbing a small piece of an existing recording. It could be a bit of singing from an old record, a cool drum beat, or even the sound of a bird chirping, and then you reuse it in your own track. It's a huge part of so many music styles. Honestly, the best way to think about it is it's like making a meme or a TikTok edit. You're taking something that people already know, you chop it up, you put your own spin on it, and bam, you've made something totally new and different. It's all about remix culture. Okay, let's recap. We've got our beat, our foundation, we've got our cool synth sounds and our samples. Now for the big part, actually building the song. It's time to head to the command center where all this stuff gets put together. And this is it. This is the main tool. It's called a digital audio workstation, or DAW for short. This is the software, the program on the computer where everything happens. It's where you arrange all your sound blocks, program your drums, record things, and mix it all together to make it sound like a real finished track. And you know, this is probably the most game-changing part of the whole story. What you're seeing here, this used to require a giant, expensive recording studio filled with tons of gear. And now, it's just software on a laptop. That means anyone, and I mean anyone, including you, can start making music in their bedroom. The power has totally shifted. Now, inside that DAW, one of the producer's best friends is the loop. A loop is just a short little section of music, maybe a drum beat or a cool melody that you set to repeat over and over and over again. And that repetition is key. It's what gets you into that hypnotic groove, that trance-like state that's perfect for dancing. So, putting it all together, the recipe looks something like this. First, you set your speed, your BPM. Then you lay down your drum loop. After that, you add a bass line to give it some weight. Then you start adding the fun stuff on top, the melodies, the samples. And finally, you arrange all those repeating parts to build up and break down, creating a full song. And you mix it all so it sounds amazing. But look, making a track on a laptop is one thing. Electronic music is really designed to be experienced, to be felt. So how does a song make that massive jump from a producer's bedroom to a giant festival or a club?
Well, first off, it's important to remember that electronic music isn't just one style. It's this huge umbrella term. And underneath it, there are tons of different subgenres. You've got some that are super slow and heavy on the bass, and others that are crazy fast with bright, happy melodies. It's so diverse, which means there's pretty much a style out there for everyone.
And the person who's the guide for this whole live experience, that's the DJ. And a really good DJ isn't just someone pressing play on a playlist. No way. They are like a master storyteller. They're watching the crowd, feeling the energy, and choosing the perfect song for that exact moment, blending it seamlessly into the last one to keep the vibe going all night long. And when you're there, at a live show, it's so much more than just hearing music. It's a total sensory overload, in the best way possible. You've got these massive sound systems with subwoofers so powerful you can literally feel the bass vibrating in your bones. You've got insane lights, lasers, and visuals all moving in perfect time at the music. The whole thing is designed to transport you somewhere else. So we've seen how these tracks get built from the ground up and how they come to life on the dance floor. But because electronic music is so tied to technology, it's constantly evolving, constantly changing. Which begs the question, what's next? Look, if there's one single thing you take away from all of this, let it be this. Technology has completely democratized making music. It blew the doors wide open. The tools you need to make a track that sounds just as good as what you hear on the radio, they're more accessible now than they've ever been in history. You have an entire studio in your pocket or on your desk.
And that leads to a pretty wild thought to end on. Right now, there's AI that can write melodies for you, that can come up with drum patterns. What is music even going to sound like in 10 years? What new genres are just waiting to be invented? All the tools are right there, waiting for someone creative to pick them up. Who knows? Maybe you'll be the one to decide.